down? The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's going on Monday? You ready to get it poppin'? You know what's going on. Scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists all across the fruited plain with a little dab of haters. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Just checking out all right, little breaking news over there. Everything's breaking news over at Fox News. Every day. Breaking news. It's not breaking news every minute. Anyway, welcome back. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, especially all of you dads out there. And I specifically mean the dads, not the ones, you know, the mothers who were saying, I do the dad's job. Yeah, it's called Mother's Day. Yeah, that's your day.
Yeah, my mom did that to me.
Did she play that off?
She said, you're not going to say Happy Father's Day to me? I said, no.
Trying to double dip on the parenting thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, a lot of people do that. It's like, I did the role of the father, you single moms. I get it, but that's what Mother's Day, in fact, if you had to play both roles, someone should have made Mother's Day extra special. That's what I think. Did you? But by the way, speaking of Mother's Day, what'd you do for her? Did you take out the dinner?
My mom?
Yeah.
No, I helped her move her whole place. I helped her move her whole place.
Nothing says I love you like manual labor. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And what did she pay you with dinner?
Yeah, she bought me something to eat.
She bought you something to eat.
That's all I wanted. I just said, yeah, just give me something to eat.
That's right. Exactly. See, that's a good son. Mama, just feed me. Look at that. Like you did when I was a boy. Whatever. Hello, Lori. Hello, Michael B. Scallywags in the building as well.
Oh, let me shout out.
Yes.
Remember Friday, Ray called and asked if I was going to go to
that tournament. Did you go?
I didn't go.
Okay.
But I looked at the highlights.
Okay.
After the stats and stuff, because I'm a nerd that way.
Okay.
If I don't attend a tournament, I like to see
what the score or what the turnout was.
Who did what. And
yeah. And
Ray shot a 300.
No doubt. Let's give it up for Ray.
I'm pretty sure that's his first one too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He could. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, he can call up and say. But
yeah,
because he's not a high average, like a super high average. Guy. So normally they don't bowl the 300s like that. So.
All right.
I think he's like a 175, 180 average.
Wow, that's a hell of a difference.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
congratulations, Ray. He must be high on the hog.
That's why he wanted me to come. He knew he was going to bowl it.
He felt it.
And he wanted me to see it in person.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lori says dinner would have been better, would have been a better deal for Roland. And Elaine is checking in. Hello, Elaine. Yeah, congratulations, Ray, on that. And call up later. Let us know how you did it. That's always that's an accomplishment. You should take a lap.
Yeah, you get a ring for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and take a lap. We'll spend some time with you today, Ray. Congratulations. I did something over the weekend, and I want to make sure I give a proper shout out to the individuals who made it happen. Because we were just, our whole schedule was weird. We were doing this, that, and the third, and we would have gone to Boston earlier, but because this young woman and her husband had been inviting us to their church, we decided that we were going to just go there. So we went to the church, which, forgive me because I'm going to forget their name, so I will get to that in a second, but I want to give a shout out to Marie and her husband, Paul. Paul was there cooking dinner for for the ladies there at the church, and I want to make sure I get all the information correct because they did contact me and let me know, and I promised that I would have it, but we had a little weird thing going on this afternoon, I should say, that was going on. So it was the New River Church in Manchester. They had their monthly women's breakfast. Paul and Maria. Maria was, of course, the woman who invited us, and Paul cooks for the ladies there. He is pretty much the cook at that event. And I met him and a bunch of other guys there. Forgive me if I'm forgetting your names. But I got to meet them and talk to them a little bit, sit down, break bread with them before we went to Boston. So I want to thank them for that. I know Maria is listening now, and I'm gonna kind of embarrass her a little bit. But they said something I thought was adorable. Maria refers to me as her boyfriend. So when she is ready to listen to the show, she tells her husband, I'm going to go listen to my boyfriend now. Thank you, Maria. And it was great to meet you. She says to Roseanne, she goes, is it okay if I hug him? Because Roseanne put out that video with me talking to Governor Lamont, and she tells some woman who wants to tap my shoulder, don't touch him. Don't you put your hands on him. And now every lady has to ask Roseanne if they can hug me. It's not that serious, ladies, I promise. It was just that particular event. Roseanne's not that guarded, if you will. So that was fun. Again, got to hang out with my little brother, younger brother. I got to stop calling him little brother. He's my younger brother. He's bigger than me now. And it was nice to see him and his wife, Helen, and their friends. We hung out with them for a little bit on Saturday and then had breakfast on Sunday for Father's Day. That was cool. My brother's grown up quite a bit. It was nice to hang out with him. In a lot of ways, he is still the same cut up that he was when I practically raised him when he was a teenager. So it was fun to hang out with him. That sense of humor. It's kind of made me feel good to see him and sort of catch up. I owe his wife some royalties because, as I told you guys on these airwaves, that his wife, Helen, came into the country from Mexico in the trunk of a car. And she, who does not listen to the program, didn't know I had expressed to you that story. And so I told her, I said, I actually talk about you a great deal when I talk about immigration into this country. And she was like, really? I'm like, yeah. I said, I can account at least for 7 times. I'm sure it's more. But she was like, oh, can I expect a royalty? And I told her, dinner's on me. So that's what most I can give her. It was actually brunch. But it was great to see them both. We had a good time. We also went to go see Boston Julie and her husband Carmine. We stayed with them in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. They took us out to dinner. We had Italian food, a great restaurant, Angelino's in Tewksbury. That was fun. Great food. We even brought food home, and Carmine made sure that Roseanne had the eggplant, an extra helping to take home, which she devoured yesterday. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That was my weekend. That was Father's Day, and it was fun. And then we got back home last night, and it's been back on the grind ever since. I want to mention something as it relates to my sister-in-law, Helen, my brother's wife. And I thought about this as we were driving home, because Roseanne, being the passenger princess, is going over Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and she's watching all of these reels. And she came upon a bunch of these TikToks and Instagram reels of people who are experiencing the World Cup all around the country. And they are all foreigners. You've seen the reports on Fox News and anywhere else, maybe even on your own social media page. And it is all the rave. It's what everyone's talking about. Did you see these people from Scotland, these people from Australia, these people from the Netherlands, these people here, there, and everywhere, raving about things like Walmart, raving about things like Target, raving about the Golden Corral. And people are in such awe of outsiders coming into the country and seeing things that we take for granted and reveling. I can't believe these people in America have a Golden Corral where someone stands around cutting beef. And you can go to a buffet and you can fill your plate with anything. Fruits, vegetables, beef, chicken, everything. Guy went to Buc-ee's. There's a man there with a cleaver, chopping up beef, screaming at the top of his lungs, more beef, more sirloin, more brisket. I didn't know where I was. And there's a big giant rodent in the middle of the street. Who are these people? And they're all so kind and generous. That's what these people are talking about. They also say something that you may have noticed. Things like, I was listening to the media the other day, and they said that America's a war zone. Guns everywhere, and people are dying on the street. When I got here, and I saw nothing of the sort. The media lied to me. That's what you hear every day. If you see any of these algorithms, any of these posts. And they drive. They drive for 45 minutes upon hours worth of driving all over the place just to go see a friend and spend a couple of hours with them. These people are amazing. Nobody I know in England would ever drive 45 minutes to just spend time with a friend. But here in America, they do it everywhere. Look at the mountain ranges right across the street from a Subway sandwich. This is what I hear. This is what I had to listen to all weekend. We were up in Boston, and the Scotch, they are running the place. They are running the place. Everywhere you look. And they're happy. They've all got on kilts. It's the first time I've seen so many men in a dress. I didn't feel awkward. It's just amazing to watch. And again, talking about Walmart, people are saying, look at this place, Walmart. You can find everything here. There are groceries and a heated blanket. Fruits, vegetables, and a Cuisinart. I might be able to plug it in right now and make a smoothie right here. Wonderful. This place is heaven. And you walk through that place every day, trying to get out of it. Talking about how long the line is. Complaining about the people who dress Walmart-esh. Yeah, you know who they're talking about. The people who have Walmart dress codes. They didn't care. They loved that. Then they went to Costco. Look, there's a vat of mayonnaise. This one here says 83 ounces. Who will eat this much mayonnaise? That's America. And they could be mocking us. No wonder they're fat. Look at them. Right there. I'm almost certain that is a bushel of lard. No, they are fascinated by us. Where are all the haters? Aren't you asking yourself that? No one came to the United States for the World Cup to hate on us? Where are they? They're not there. Weird. And I noticed something, folks. Here's the thing. And when I say I noticed it while I was driving home. Because, again, Roseanne's going through all of this. I said, write this down. Make sure you send this to me. Send it to me in a text. Because I want to make this point tomorrow. It's crazy that the people who got a visa to come into this country to watch their country participate in the World Cup have nicer things to say about this country. I'll say it again. People who got a visa to come into this country to watch their country participate in the World Cup legally revere this country more than those who broke in illegally. There is more defense for people who have broken our laws to come into this country to fleece it and its taxpayers than there is protection of these people who came in to tell us how much they love what we've done to the place. Isn't that wild to you? Let's go one step further. All of you people on the left, and you know who you are, who always love to tell me, Reese, if you ever listen to how they talk about us on the BBC or international news networks, they tell the real truth about America. We're the laughing stock of the world. They mock us. They make fun of us. They talk about how violent we are, how our gun violence is plaguing our cities, how our racism has made us reprobates. And then these people come to the country with everything that they've learned about us through their media. Remember, the elite media who knows everything about us. Those people still bought tickets for thousands of dollars to stay in hotels or hostels or however they got here or wherever they stay. They came to this country. The one that's being depicted in their country is the worst, pathetic, disgusting place in the world. They still came. And then got here. And what did they do online? They told the people back home, hey, people back home, it's not what they say on the BBC. No, it's gorgeous. It's wonderful. I went to the Grand Canyon, the Hoover Dam, and a Walmart. It's glorious what they're doing here. Yes, absolutely. Yesterday, a black man taught me to beatbox. It was amazing. Yes, that's right. That's right. You people on the left, remember? We were supposed to be listening to the elite media who said that we were a laughingstock. What say you now? When we come back, I'm going to play you some of my favorite ones. Let you hear it yourself. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Yes! The black man taught me how to break dance too. It's amazing what they can do. The footwork alone is just amazing. We'll be back.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Thank you for standing by after that long break. If you're just joining us now, I was talking about the algorithm you may have been seeing online with all of these foreigners coming into the country for the World Cup and raving about their experience. In particular, like Japanese folks experiencing Costco and Walmart for the first time. And I'll tell you, the Japanese folks, the thing that I find amazing about that, what's going on with my computer? Oh, that was weird. The thing that I find interesting about that is it's Japan. They've got crazy stuff there already. You know? It's like their game shows are wilder than ours. You know? Just everything that they do. They if you've ever seen a Japanese game show, their stuff is through the roof. It makes this Let's Make a Deal show look like amateur hour. So when they come to the United States and they see a big box store and they are over the moon, it says a lot. But, you know, I promised I'll play some of the ones that Roseanne was playing last night that I was listening to that I thought were interesting. Some of them, you know, you need the visual. But they're amazing nonetheless. Here's a few of them.
The media portrays Americans as rude, lazy, all the above, and it's further from the truth. The amount of hospitality and kindness and care and pride Americans hold is truly like no other country I've been to. It's nice to see everyone get their hat, take it off, and respect the country.
I feel like I've been lied to my entire life about America. Like, I'm in Florida, this beach is insane. Like, just as good as Australian beaches. But if you log onto the news, everything's bad. Everything's terrible. It's not. It's absolutely f***ing amazing.
When you go to a restaurant, you leave a tip. It's because they're so nice. But my waitress, she came over and talked to us like we had known each other for a year. It was like she wanted to be my best friend.
For years, people have told us everything that is wrong with America, but very few people talk about what's actually right with America.
Which is surprising because it's unbelievable. But let's be honest, after everything we have experienced in America, we are obsessed. It's one of the most diverse, friendly places we've ever visited. And we also understand why so many of you beautiful Americans love calling America your home. And hopefully one day we will be able to do the same thing.
100%. People are experiencing it for the first time and actually having their own opinion on it rather than listening to the media and other people's opinions.
Absolutely crazy about the United States.
Number one, there are actually nice people in America. People have been very kind to me and very helpful, and I didn't know that America had nice people. Number two, there aren't any guns. I walk around the street and it is perfectly safe. I thought people would be dying in the street like there was a civil war. But no, I haven't seen a one gun. Except I go to the shooting range and I shoot one myself and it's very fun.
He went to the shooting range and said it was very fun. It's very fun. I want to mention something that I want to get their name right here. I saw this. I think it's Alan who said this. Yes. There it is. Alan J says, did you hear about the tip loss due to the Europeans not tipping? So some businesses have added on an extra 20%. Yeah, Alan, you're 100% right. This is probably the most downside of all of this is that tipping in the UK or European countries is not a thing. So they're not accustomed to that. So they're fish out of water on that. And so when they hear about the tip thing, that is a conversation you have to have with somebody. It's like, what is this tip thing? Gratuity? What is that? And then I got to explain, well, as a waitress, I only make $2-3 an hour. You know what I mean? So they have to explain that to them completely foreign to them. Pun intended. So yeah, that can be a problem. What is this? Lori says, that French guy is hilarious. Have you ever watched his reactions to Buc-ee's? Yes. He's the one that we saw a lot of videos of him, yesterday as well. Or I heard Roseanne was watching. But this is so many people have not said about these videos. I want to comment on someone who said this is like, it's amazing that they did not make this out to be Donald Trump propaganda. And you're right, because, and it was Joey V. He says, I'm surprised the left didn't call this a Trump propaganda operation. It was too vast. It was too wide, and it came from so many different angles. And also, it's organic, which is hard to point as being propaganda in the first place, because the stuff that they were talking about kind of led people to kind of go, yeah, I guess that makes sense when you go to a Golden Corral. I guess it makes sense if you went to a Costco. You know, we view that stuff as we do. You know, some people say it's gluttony. Other people saying it's excess. But to them, having never experienced it in the way they talk about it, couldn't be denied. You could try, but I doubt it. It's really difficult to push back on that. And I'm going to say what I said earlier. Isn't it interesting that the people who paid to come here to probably spend, weeks on end, depending on how well their country does. They're staying here in the country. They're experiencing it. They're drinking up a storm in Boston, right? They ran the town out of beer. But they are loving the place, and they're being so received by just average Americans. To see that and know that there are people who are coming into the country stealing from us. Let's be honest, folks. Illegally. Coming into the country illegally, stealing from us, committing crimes. And there's more people in America who are protecting them than celebrating these folks. Let's go one step further, though. Let's go one step further from both of those dualities, right? Just one end of the spectrum to the other. Where is the celebration, or in any way, the effort to tell those people, you should stay here? You're the type of people we want. You love this country. You're coming here and you're experiencing it for the first time and you are loving it. You know what? You should come. You should stay. Not one person is taking an opportunity. They're loving it, patting themselves on the back. I saw Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, talking about it. It's like, well, they sure do seem to love this place. But if you talk to Michelle Wu during the election time, what was she saying about the country? Much less her own city. She was crapping on it, as the left does. You know, it's the other part that I find amazing, that nobody on the left is crapping on these people who came into the country and are loving it. They're not even encouraging it. To be honest, I think there's a reason why the left haven't started bashing these folks yet. Because how dumb would it be? How stupid would it be to say these people don't know what they're talking about? How dumb would it be for, Joy Behar to say, yeah, of course they're having a great time. They don't live here. Of course they love it here. They're not here every day. Who would bash this? And I know the reason why most people aren't. Because this simple thing is happening that makes all the difference. If you watched any of these videos, they don't talk about politics, do they? They don't talk about left or right or conservative or liberal, progressive or right wing. They don't. When they talk about America, they talk about them across the board. I came here and I saw the Americans. They didn't say, I come here and I talk to the left. No. The Americans are so nice. The Americans are beautiful. Their stores, their culture. Look at the mountains and the range. Everything is gorgeous. They talk about America as one whole thing. You'd be a moron to crap on that. You would be. Because the beautiful thing that they're talking about America is you. Left, right, and in between. They are celebrating you. And who can't look at that and go, I feel quite honored. Do you ever see that guy who stands out on the street? He has these videos where he is shouting out compliments to people as they walk by. There's another guy who's driving in a car. He does the same thing. He'll tell somebody to roll down their window and say something nice about them, and he always gets the same response. People laugh and they smile and they say, thank you for that. That's what's happening in this video. That's what's happening in all these videos. They are raving about you. And you can't deny it. Why would you dump on it? You can't. It's impossible. It would be stupid to do it. Something else just came to mind. I'll talk about it in a second. I hate to bring him up, but I'm going to. Because I think you got to give the guy a win on this one, if you really think about it. Stand by. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I'll tell you, one of the things they should be doing, if you are an American and you live in one of the cities that these folks are traveling to go see the World Cup, I would be out there selling America like crazy. All that nonsense about being afraid of an American flag, and the American flag means this. Nah, get out there and sell them an American flag. Make that, you got to make that cheddar cheese, man. Get out there. Be selling patriotism out the wazoo because they love it. You may even you may find a newfound respect for your country because somebody else is coming to your country and loving it. It's like, I had this experience, so I'm going to sort of translate it in this way, right? Imagine you bought a modest home and you thought of it, it's like, hey, it's not the greatest. It's not a mansion, but it's mine. I worked really, really hard for it and it's mine and I love it. I got a backyard. I got a yard swing. It's mine. I own it. All I ever wanted to do was own a home. And then, like, a family member comes by. And they see the home, and they are so proud of you. And they go, look at your home. This is so beautiful. Oh, and they start talking about how beautiful everything is. They love your kitchen. They love the layout. And all of a sudden, they start raving about your accomplishment and talking about it in a way that you saw it, but you didn't really see it. Like it's an aunt. Or an older, your mom even. When you introduce her to the first place you own on your own, she's so proud of you that look how you turned out. Look how you accomplished this through all the things she watched you go through. And then you look around and you see it through her eyes. And she's making you feel fantastic about it. That, yeah, it's modest, but it's yours. And you worked hard. She gives you a hug and she cries. She's just so proud of you. That sense of pride that you feel right then, that's what's happening. You see these people coming into the country. They're first-timers coming here and seeing everything in a way that you knew was kind of cool, but you didn't really know it was kind of cool because you just kind of drove by it. This is an everyday thing. We take a lot of things for granted. Not that we mean to, we just do. Because we have other stuff on our minds, driving us crazy. It's like you would have never thought, wow, the dude like Golden Corral? Who was it in here that said the Bass Pro Shop was great? Music Design. Said the foreign guy at the Bass Pro Shop was funny. Kid in the candy store. How many times have you driven by one, never walked in? Watch that video of the guy talking about how great it was, and you go, yeah, it is kind of amazing. That's what you need. And if I may tweak some folks, who couldn't stop telling us that it was great that we got the World Cup? Donald Trump. The guy who was trying to clean up the country, make it safe, make it beautiful. So that when people come in, they could see our beautiful country. They can see the flyovers by our military to see the best of the best of the best. And sure enough, paid off. It's in video form. All of these people talking about what a great nation. All he wanted to do was to show. What did I say about Donald Trump's biggest critique of Barack Obama? In contrast, because Lori just said it in the chat room. What did Barack Obama do at his library opening? Did the same thing he always does. Talks about the divisiveness in this country. The big problem that Donald Trump had with Barack Obama. I thought he'd be a cheerleader for this country. And look at the contrast. Same weekend, folks. Same weekend. Who was cheerleading for the country? Who was bashing it? The guy's got an $850 million monstrosity sitting in one of the poorest cities in the country. More gun violence than Iraq. Spend all of that money. Not to mention the black contractors who haven't been paid millions of dollars who are about to go bankrupt. Another story, another time. They have the audacity to complain about that. A country that gave him two terms and gave him an $850 million Death Star. Still complaining. Still complaining. And Donald Trump, on the other hand, just saying, America's great, America's beautiful. It is back, and it is in business, and it's hotter than ever. Sure enough, saying that, people coming to the country proved that exact fact. And not one person, by the way, also another thing. Although I'm giving the President of the United States the credit because that's all he wanted, was for people to revel in the country that he loves. In these videos, nobody's talking about Donald Trump. They're talking about you. Look at that. For the guy that always makes it about himself, people came into the country, started recording videos talking about you. You're so great. You're so fantastic. You're so friendly. You're so kind. You're so helpful. You treated them like family. And these guys are in blue cities. Come on. Nothing. You got nothing. I know you don't. I know. I totally get it. I appreciate it. I am where you are. I am grateful. As should you. You should be. Look how fantastic I am. Pat yourself on the back. Try not to break your arm. This is you. You get all the credit. All right, more news, more views when we return.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
By the way, I'm going to address that whole reflecting pool issue, which I'm going to have to chastise a lot of folks about that story, especially the news media, because they proved to me that there's no research department ever. And in an audio clip that I have of Debbie Dingell from Michigan, what she said about children is an indictment of our school system. So I want to play that later. Stand by. That's roughly about the, what am I going to bring it over? 4 o'clock hour. I'll talk about that. Also, we have Negro Nonsense today, and that's going to be a long segment. There's a lot of nonsense. So we have to address that. October 1st, 2025 was my first conversation with Democrat gubernatorial candidate Josh Elliot. And I had already started talking about Josh Elliott's strategy to go up against Ned Lamont. Very early on, I said Josh Elliott had a good chance to push Ned Lamont on the left. That his party was going so far left on him, he would not be able to deal or recover in a lot of ways. This was Ned Lamont. I played this audio plenty of times of Lamont on Bloomberg talking about, or at least the reporter is asking him about how far the left has emerged, the far left for that matter, socialism, progressives, how much that is grown in the party, and whether or not a moderate, as the reporter's asking Ned Lamont, a moderate can survive.
Governor, it seems like for both parties, perhaps, the extreme right, the extreme left seems to be driving the politics for each of those parties. Is there even a center left for either party or both parties?
It's getting smaller because I'm there, and you're right. I think after Donald Trump's election, the Republicans are a lot less likely to want to talk to me. I always had a big table and an open door, and a lot of people looked at me and said, "It looks a little like a Republican." And the Democrats are sort of really fighting Trump every day. And if you don't go after them on a daily basis, you're sort of being weak in terms of your principles. So you're right, the middle's getting very small, and that's not a good thing for America.
That's right. The middle's getting quite small, and that's not a good place. But I continue to say Lamont is part of a party that's too weak, too feckless, bunch of chumps. They are not going to stand up against the progressive wing of their party, no matter how far left and no matter how radical they become. They will never challenge them. Why? Because they want every vote. So what happens when you have to be the master of all, or in this case, I guess, so the servant of all? And that's what the Democrat Party has become. The servant of every radical group. They pop up every day. We believe in, asteroids being our divine spiritual leader. We can't ostracize those guys. We need their votes. We believe that there are mole people living underneath our homes. Can't ostracize those people, no matter how wacky they are. We have to find a way to put them in our tent. Just because they're wild and kooky doesn't mean that we should negate their vote. It doesn't matter. They'll go crazy. They'll do the craziest stuff. We believe that men should play in women's sports. How do you feel about that, Senator? I have boys, Dodge, can't say no. Gotta say, gotta protect that base. We believe that we should have reproductive rights for men just as much as women. Why? Because men can get pregnant, Senator. What do you say? Oh, well, I don't have an opinion about that. I don't know enough. I just don't know enough. Can't outright condemn it. Why? Can't lose that voter base. So the crazier they get, the more support they have to get. And now it's gone off the deep end. So when Ned Lamont is asked about Zoran Mamdani, he says things like this.
So as you know, last week there was a primary in New York City. Zoran Mamdani won. One of his big issues was housing and affordability. You just vetoed a piece of legislation that a lot of people thought had been negotiated with your office. What's going to be the future of housing legislation in Connecticut, and how do you read Zoran Mamdani's victory in New York City with that issue being a driving force?
I think he is a big deal. I think he's transformative. I love what he's doing on a universal pre-K for everybody. Same thing that we're doing right here. Talking about free bus service for folks. We did that all during COVID as well. But you're absolutely right. Affordable housing is the biggest key to affordability in our state, and I think across the country. There's a bill out there right now that I did veto, but we're going to bring it back in a better form, make sure the towns are taking the lead. But we need more housing. It's not just affordable housing, it's workforce housing, and housing for single people. 30% of people live alone these days. That wasn't the case when you and I were younger, but it is now. So we got to make sure we have housing that meets the market.
You were supportive of Andrew Cuomo. Are you now supportive of Zoran Mamdani in New York?
And he was. Big Andrew Cuomo guy. One of the first even. Because he's the neighbor. But Zoran Mamdani's the guy. What did Lamont say? Huh? He played it safe.
Just said that I had worked with Andrew Cuomo when he was governor, so I can work with whoever the next mayor is. And that's Mamdani. Absolutely. I look forward to working with him. The first call he's going to get from us. Look, New York City is the financial capital of the world. And Stamford, Connecticut, and Southern Connecticut are a big piece of that ecosystem. We have to work together closely.
Yeah, acquiesce. Everybody knew he was a controversial figure, but Lamont couldn't criticize him. And that's all Major Garrett was trying to do. It's like, come on, you were a Cuomo guy. This guy is going to be left of Cuomo. You said you endorsed Andrew Cuomo. What about this guy? Couldn't do it. Scared to death. And that's what happens. So when I heard about Josh Elliott running, I made the obvious assessment. And that was, Josh, are you going to borrow from the Mamdani playbook? Are you waiting to shoot your shot after you find out how well Mamdani's doing. I have a conspiracy theory about your campaign. And it's because the articles that were written about you when you first decided to join, or when it was like kind of an exploratory committee, even beyond that, they said that you were kind of channeling Zohran Mamdani, of course, the mayoral candidate in New York. And I had a theory I talked about yesterday where I said that perhaps you were kind of laying low until the results of that campaign in November come out. And if Zohran really looks like the clear winner, like he wins leaps and bounds beyond, Sliwa and Andrew Cuomo, that you would then start your campaign full throttle. Do you want to confirm or deny that?
What I'm doing is so different than what he's doing.
Okay. Now, right there, he could have said no. But he said what Zohran Mamdani is doing is so different from what I'm doing.
And who he's running against is so different than who I'm running against.
Right.
And the way that he raises money is so different than the way that I have to raise money.
Okay.
There are similarities.
Now, you notice the minute that I start laughing, for those of you who don't know why I'm laughing, it's because I know he's avoiding answering the question. I know he's not going to answer it. That Zohran Mamdani is the template, and I knew Josh was waiting for it. Give me a second. All of this will pay off in a second. Let's listen to the rest of Josh Elliott's answer. You want to confirm or deny that?
What I'm doing is so different than what he's doing.
Okay.
And who he's running against is so different than who I'm running against.
Right.
And the way that he raises money is so different than the way that I have to raise money.
Okay.
There are similarities in terms of what we believe in, but in terms of what I'm aiming for. So this isn't even a full primary yet. The first thing we have to do is get to the May convention. Mm-hmm. So my conversations are really internal. I'm going to Democratic town committees. I'm going to fundraisers. I'm making individual calls. It's much less be there in public, be front and center, and so much more slowly accumulate commitments and organize people to get onto their Democratic town committees to be able to win in May. So it's different because it's not as forward-facing yet. It will be. It's just that's not where we're at in terms of timeline for the campaign.
That's right. It's not where we are as far as timeline for the campaign. So, Josh, you're saying there's a chance. This morning, Connecticut Democrats just got a clearer picture of the contrast in their governor's primary. State Representative Josh Elliot, the progressive challenger to Governor Ned Lamont, has hired key people from the team that helped Zohran Mamdani become the mayor of New York City. Mamdani, a self-described Democrat socialist, won an upset primary over Andrew Cuomo and in the general election with viral ads and heavy appeal to a younger left-leaning vote base. Elliot signed up with Fight Agency, specifically Morris Katz and Eric Stern, to handle media, ads, and digital strategy. He also brought in pollster Jane Rayburn, who worked on Mamdani's campaign. Elliot says this means the way that this campaign operates and looks is going to be significantly different. He's qualified for public financing and wants a narrative-driven operation. Now, I told you that it was going to be a Mamdani campaign back in October. That's how every progressive is watching. He's the number one person on the ticket. Zohran Mamdani's election in New York was going to be the template for everyone. And the two people involved is Morris Katz and Eric Stern. These guys are now considered kingmakers. Don't believe me? Morris Katz also works on Graham Plattner's campaign. That's right. Most of the Democrats who are making inroads, at least progressive Democrats, have pulled in both of these gentlemen, Morris Katz and Eric Stern. They're everywhere. These kids are 30-year-old upstarts, and they're turning into kingmakers. And I told you that Josh Elliott was going to. That's why I said, and I continue to say, Josh Elliott has a real shot. And now, watch Governor Lamont. What did I tell you was going to happen? That he was going to forget about all that moderate nonsense. He was going to go as far left as he possibly could. It's going to be a cage match. He's going to finally reveal, no, I am a progressive. Absolutely. The nanny state, I'm all in. I'm all in. Who do you want me to tax? I'll tax them. That's how we know. Listen, if you want to see a weak candidate, if you want to see a candidate scared to death of Josh Elliott, look no further than the next passage. Lamont's team is taking a different approach. Campaign chairman Matt Brockman said he doesn't pay attention to Josh Elliott. What? That is the dumbest thing I ever heard from anybody. What do you mean you don't pay attention? You better. Every player pays attention to their opponent. Every person who's ever tried to win anything pays attention to their opponent. You sound like Hillary Clinton, Brockman. He says they're focused on getting the governor's third-term agenda in front of voters, and Lamont is already on the air with TV ads. His side has the bigger firms and roughly twice as many paid staff. Do you really think that's how this is going to be done? Do you think this election, 44% of people don't want the guy to run for a re-election? 44%. And the delegation gave him a 25% vote. You don't pay attention to him? And now he's got the two guys from the Mamdani campaign on his team. They didn't join yours? We're talking about a campaign that is done with the old guard. And when I say done with the old guard, folks, here is Morris Katz on MSNBC or MS Now talking about one of the candidates that he's in charge of. It's a woman by the name of, she's got a weird name, so forgive me if I pronounce it poorly. DeHarliza Chevalier. And she is endorsed by Zoran Mamdani, and she is being handled by Morris and Stern. She was on MS Now. She is a progressive leftist. When you hear what has come up in this woman's past and how she feels about former standard bearers in the Democrat Party, not Republican, Democrat Party. This is a progressive in New York. Talking about Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama. And she is being handled by Mamdani's team.
There have been some posts that came up from her past that have been reported on from Politico and I think others, including she said F. Kamala Harris. She referred to Joe Biden as a rapist. I think she referred to Obama as evil. She called for police abolition. Do you think that kind of social media background, that kind of archival material on candidates no longer matters?
When you hear that from a political candidate who says that F. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden is a rapist, and Barack Obama is evil, you immediately go, well, this MAGA? No. This is a woman of color and a Democrat progressive. Her online posts they're talking about they're available. She was saying this in 2020 about Joe Biden while he was running for election. She called him a war criminal. That's what they said about him. That's what this woman said about him. Insanity.
There have been some posts that came up from her past that have been reported on from Politico and I think others, including she said F. Kamala Harris. She referred to Joe Biden as a rapist. I think she referred to Obama as evil. She called for police abolition. Do you think that kind of social media background, that kind of archival material on candidates no longer matters?
I think that if we want a new generation to come into power, we're going to have to kind of change some of our expectations of what is reasonable to expect. Everyone has said things on social media that they regret, just like everyone said things in their lives that they regret.
Well, they haven't said that the first, who became the first black female candidate for president, F her. Like, I feel like there are people who say unwise things on social media, and then there are people who, insult some of the senior leaders of the party who have major, fan bases in the party.
I think, I won't litigate every tweet of Daria Liza's.
Yeah. So, again, this guy, who is in essence a kingmaker, that was Morris Katz, by the way. That's the guy who's going to be joining Josh Elliott's campaign. If not, has already joined him. That's him saying, yeah, and the old guard is out. When you can say Barack Obama is evil, Joe Biden's a rapist, and F. Kamala Harris, the Democrat Party is over. Mamdani and everybody else, Bernie Sanders, they're backing this kind of candidate. It's over, folks. When we come back, I got to talk a little bit more about this because we're about to see something amazing in Connecticut if Josh Elliott wins. Amazing. I'll talk a little bit about that when we get back. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. I was going to continue my talk about Josh Elliott and Ned Lamont, but I was listening to the bottom of the hour news with John Silva, and he mentioned, if you were paying attention, that they have identified two of the individuals of the three who had perished inside a home in Burlington, Connecticut. The address is 7 Stanwich Lane in Burlington, Connecticut. And there is a backstory that is wild. Last week, we were talking about, near the end of the show, we were talking about what could have possibly happened on a foreclosed home that people would not know that there were people inside. And I went so far as to say, depending on the timeline, like if the home had been foreclosed upon and the person who purchased the home, if there's a considerable amount of time, it's quite possible there were squatters there, right? Maybe they died of a drug overdose. No one had suspected that the individuals who were in the home were actually the former owners, a husband and wife. And as you heard, John Silva mentioned Paul and Sally Ann Cash were the residents or the people who were found dead inside the home. They did purchase the home. They owned it. It says Paul and Sally Ann Cash, purchased the 4-bedroom home in 2019. Records show around $535,000 with a $385,000 mortgage. The mortgage payment stopped after December of 2024. A foreclosure action was filed in August of 2025 by the mortgage server. The Cashes did not respond to the complaint or engage in the process. The property was sold at a public foreclosure auction as is on or around June 6 of 2026 to a new buyer. On June 14th of 2026, the new owner entered the home and found the skeletal remains of 3 people. Connecticut State Police responded around 4:46 p.m. The Office of the Chief Medical Officer took custody of the remains. Property and court records directly tie Paul and Sally Ann Cash to the home as the owners subject to foreclosure. Their niece, Corinne Handy, was contacted by investigators and spoke publicly about the couple's increased isolation, Sally's societal anxiety, and the family's limited recent contact. They did not even know that the couple had moved to Connecticut. Handy described the situations in terms that align with the victims being her aunt and uncle. Police have not issued an official public identification of all three remains as of the latest detailed reports from this month. But the factual linkage through ownership records, abandonment indicators during foreclosure, and a family's notification is consistent and widely reported. State police stated there's no indication that anything suspicious and no indication of any criminal aspect. The incident is being treated as isolated with no threat to the public. The house was described as difficult to access. an off-private road driveway obscured by overgrowth, and an assessor during the foreclosure process noted challenges in viewing the property fully from the street while relying partly on older data. This highlights practical gaps in how foreclosure processes are handled and non-responsive owners who may be deceased inside the property, something that allowed the auction to proceed without earlier discovery. The new buyer purchased the property as is. Never do that. I don't care what it is. Never purchase anything as is. They haven't released exactly how the two died, but if you're asking yourself, how old were they? That's what my natural question was. Was this an elderly couple? No. The two individuals connected to the property through ownership records, Paul and Sally Ann Cash, were both in their 50s. Multiple news outlets reporting on the case, drawing from public records and statements, say their niece, Corinne Handy, consistently described them as 50-year-olds. Paul Cash was originally from England and had worked in IT or accounting-related fields earlier in life. Sally Ann Cash had become increasingly isolated over the years with significant societal anxiety or social anxiety and limited contact with extended family after their grandmother's death in 2010. The family did not even know the couple had moved to Connecticut, as I said. The third set of remains found in the home have not been publicly identified by authorities or the family member who spoke to reporters. Therefore, no age or other details about that individual are available in the reporting. So, 50s, probably mid-50s, couple dead inside, no one's ever seen the home. And it was sold as is. Probably looking at old photos. But, can you imagine showing up at the home and finding dead bodies in there? Can you move in? Roland, could you do that? You just bought a home as is. You're probably going to make it a fixer-upper. You know, you're going to probably resell it. And you walk up to come check out the property, see what the damage is, what kind of, reworking of the property you're going to have to do or remodeling. You walk into the house for the first time and you see dead bodies in there. 3 people dead.
No.
Do you sell? What do you do immediately? Do you ever go back to the property, or are you traumatized?
Yeah, I would go back to the property.
You would?
During the daytime, yeah.
Ugh.
During the daytime.
Yeah, I couldn't go at night. Like, if it even started getting dark, I would be out of the house. I was like, hey, guys, it's 7:30. Let's go. Let's go. Move it.
And they don't know how they...
No, the coroner,
what was the third person?
They don't know who the third person is. They just know that the two remains have been identified as the married couple in their 50s, came in from England, looks like 2019. The fact that the family didn't know that they were in town. We're talking 7 years. No one knew they were here. And just complete, hermits, reclusive. The house is all the way, it's on a hill, so it's sort of like a long driveway, and they just let the stuff grow. No maintenance, no landscaping, nothing.
Oh, I don't know, man. This could be a humongous story.
It could be. As soon as I heard it.
There's 15 different movies you can make out of.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the storyline is.
Wait, because, again, that was the first reason why I said, were they elderly? Because being reclusive, not having any context at home, if somebody's sick or ill, they just, deteriorate, just die in the home. But if they were in their 50s, that's different. Would a third person, undetermined age?
How old? Oh, they don't know the age.
They don't know. No age, no identifiers yet.
How? How don't they know the age yet?
Well, I don't know. It's a reason why they're not revealing who the third person is.
Yeah, I think they know something.
You think so?
Yeah. If they know, those people are professionals. Once they look at bones and stuff, they can tell the age.
That's true.
It's not difficult for the professionals to be able to tell how old the person was.
Yeah.
So I think they know I think they know at least the age of the third person.
Have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And they might know some other things that they're not releasing at this time.
Well, they don't mention that the couple has a daughter or anything, or another child. That would they said that, they're not elderly, makes the circumstances more striking, relatively young couple who had withdrawn completely from the family, neighbors, and official systems. So it looks like, again, they were reclusive.
And how were they found? Were they like sitting up on a couch? Or,
such a good question.
Or were they laid out in a closet?
That's a great question.
Or in a bed? That could determine a lot of different things as well.
That's right. Such a good question.
Were they all together? Were they spread out? What?
Yes. Absolutely. Kitchen, dining room. It could be anything.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of...
Was he found dead shoveling snow? I don't know.
It's a lot of things, man.
Stuff. Yeah. Okay, Charlene is on the line. We got to take a break, Charlene, but stay on the phone. I'm going to get to you first when we come back from the break. I didn't think of that. Where they're found that tells us a lot.
Yeah.
If the wife was cooking, dinner.
I mean, if they're all found together, they were either murdered or.
Yeah, suicide pact.
Suicide pact. Yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be an interesting one. Maybe somebody knows in the community. Somebody's got to know. Somebody's got to know. If there's somebody who's at the Burlington Police Department, if there's somebody who can contact me privately.
Yeah, not on air.
Not on air. Just tell me some details. There's got to be some deets on this that I want to know. Charlene, stand by. We'll get back to you in a second. Let's take a break. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, so we have a couple of theories, at least one, and I want to give a shout out to is it ABN? Thank you so much. Good idea. Quite possibly be our culprit here. They said carbon monoxide poisoning. Quite possible. I'm only going to throw a wrench in it for this reason. Okay? And Roland and I have been thinking about this. So the person who discovered the bodies was the new owner, right? The person who bought it as is. Now, I'm saying to myself, if they're all in the same place, right? You walk in and you say, dead bodies, you're out of there. Unless you're telling me you walked in and found a dead body and then went looking for others. Because I don't think that's the natural reaction. If you walked into a home you just bought and found a dead body, you bolt out of that place and then you call the authorities. This says they discovered the bodies. The new owner discovered the bodies, which lends reasoning to say that they were all together. But quite possible. I'm still with you on this one. I think that you have the most reasonable suspicion or the reasonable answer here. Carbon monoxide poisoning. I think that's a reasonable.
Especially if they're all together.
Exactly. Like if they were sleeping in their bed, though.
Oh, yeah. Or if they were found in their bedroom.
Yeah, if they were found in their bedroom sleeping, that makes sense. Yeah. Let's go to Charlene real quick. Hello, Charlene. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Reese, and I just love your show.
Thank you.
I was going to say, I think great minds think alike. I think it's carbon monoxide poisoning as well. The last mortgage payment was in December, so that would make sense to me. Now, if they were all laying in the floor together, I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't make sense, but
right. But then again, if it's carbon monoxide poisoning and you don't recognize it, you could be just roaming around the house and not know. And everybody passes out, right? You're just sitting around watching TV. Everybody's doing their thing. And if if that kind of poisoning is happening and you don't recognize it, everybody dozes off and then that's it. I'm also thinking that they didn't have that because that's going to be a question. Did they have that kind of detector in the home?
Excellent question.
So,
excellent question.
I think that you guys are taking us out of the conspiracy here. I'm a little upset about that because Roland and I we were about to grab the Scooby-Doo mystery machine and figure this thing out. We were on our way. But I'm glad. Thank you guys for bringing me off the ledge. I was literally there. Charlene, and thank you for loving the show. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Reese.
You're welcome.
Good work.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, let's make this point, though.
What's that?
First of all, because we're talking about this, but let's not forget that we're not saying anything about the people that died and passed away. We're not like trying to.
No, absolutely not.
Make light of someone that passed away and their families that are, just found out and they're hurting and stuff like that. So we want to make sure we send our condolences out to their families. We just want to find out what happened.
Yeah, but absolutely.
We just have questions 100%. About what happened.
Yeah, because somebody might turn around and say, are you mocking them? No, we're not mocking them. This is tragic. This is tragic. But when everybody heard about this story and we talked about it Friday, everybody said the same thing that we said. It was like, what? What do you mean? It's like, that seems odd.
That's just strange.
Yeah, did on a foreclosure, no one had been to the home? But remember what I said on Friday, the distance, right? From the time it was foreclosed upon versus the time that somebody purchased the home, if that is a considerable amount, I don't think it's going to be the family members that are in there who wouldn't have thought they would be in there.
Yeah.
But that makes a good point. And also brings up a good point to pay attention to or have one of those detectors in the home.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, you got
to have one.
You got to have one. Absolutely.
You just never know.
Yeah, it's about time. Yeah, let's get to our first check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. All right. First hour done. First half done. Second half underway right here on Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. When we return, Negro nonsense. Stupidest thing I read today. It's got to be the craziest thing. Folks, the fact that there are children out there who do not understand algae, the fact that there are news reporters who do not understand algae, who are trying to make this story about the reflecting pool a story is laughable. Laughable, laughable. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. I watched this stuff over the weekend. Outraged. I'm screaming at people. This sounds as dumb as people who say CO2, right? Who say who do not understand that plants eat carbon. Never mind. I've never seen people this dumb. Never. We'll get into it. Okay? Stand by. We'll get into it. I promise. Plus your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. By the way, I'm sorry. This has now become an obsession. Okay? Thank you for the phone calls. By the way, those of you who I know that a lot of people will call and they don't want to speak. I just want to thank you for the info. If this story is true, the info we just got, I already got Adam 12 on it. He's going to make a few phone calls to get to the bottom of it. Apparently, this story appears to be carbon dioxide related. However, there's still other mysteries. I'm sorry, but it is. This isn't going down until I figure out the entire thing, because now I'm hearing a story about sleeping bags. So I got to find this out. I don't know why, but I have to ask. What happened? It's not enough just to hear that it was carbon dioxide. Or carbon monoxide, sorry. Carbon monoxide. I need to know. Nate is saying CO2 from 2019 to 2026, fuel, oil, natural gas. Somebody paid for it. That's a long time for no one to check on ownership. If this couple was as reclusive as we suspect, and what we're hearing about the sleeping bags, there may be a reasonable answer for this. But we've got some people on, and we'll answer that soon. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How you doing, sir?
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
So, this story about the reflecting pool in D.C. should outrage anyone who has to endure it. And for a lot of years now, I've been telling people the obsessive nature of individuals who want to make the reflecting pool story a Trump issue. Like he was out painting the reflecting pool blue and filling it up with water. like the memes are real of Donald Trump cleaning up. Like, people believe this. People also make the argument about this no-bid contractor. Please don't bore me with the no-bid contractor nonsense, okay? Please don't. You guys are swimming in that pool, and you know it. So please don't play that game with me. I will laugh at you so hard right in your face, and I'll embarrass you. Like, I'll embarrass you to the point where you want to swing. So please stay out of that realm. You all look stupid. It's a no-bid contract. Please, shut up. Just shut up. I've never seen more stupid people. But the algae thing, it says a lot. CNN going down there, checking the purity of the water, making it like a scandal. It says, we checked the water at the reflecting pool, and there are high contents of algae. How could this have happened? What do you mean there's algae in the water? Donald Trump said he would clean it, and yet, for some odd reason, miraculously, as if against the science, algae has appeared inside the reflecting pool. And I'm watching these people over the weekend. I'm going, I want to go in the air. Like, literally, I wanted to come all the way back from Boston, come right here to Farmington and get on the air and go, idiots, wake up. You don't know anything about algae? This is new to you? So I want to know, reveal yourself. Which one of you bozos were posting about the reflecting pool and the algae? Which one of you? Because I'm about to embarrass you. So I want you to find it on your Facebook page, your Instagram, your Facebooking. I don't care what it was. Get rid of it, because you're going to look like a moron. And the fact that you haven't been challenged shows exactly how inept the news media is. And this is why you can't rely on them. Some of you swear, these people know what they're talking about. They know far more than me. No, they don't. They're idiots. This is basic junior high school science. It is. It is. I've never been more angry. You know who Debbie Dingle is? Her name should be changed to Debbie Dingbat. Here's her with John Berman at CNN. Listen to how smug these morons are.
If I say Washington, D.C. reflecting pool, the reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial, if I raise that subject, what do you say?
Algae. That's all anybody talked about at home this weekend. It became, it's very sad, actually, as we do go into the 250th. And, the 250th is a time that all of us should remember how lucky we are to live in this country and what our forefathers put into that Constitution. So he wanted it, a flag blue. I don't know what's happened. Algae is a real problem. And it is in Michigan. It is in the Great Lakes. So maybe people will study it and understand what he did to the reflecting pool, which is part of the beauty of Washington.
We'll find out what he did to the reflecting pool. Talking about Donald Trump. What he did to the reflecting pool. We'll find out what happened to the reflecting pool, is what she says. But no, if it couldn't be more embarrassing, she went on.
It's disgusting. What are they doing? A lot of people, believe it or not, were outraged that an Olympian had been arrested. So I have to tell you, I would tell you, you know me when I'm home. I'm a lot of places. And at the Canton Festival, a bunch of kids brought it up to me. What does it mean? How did it get there? How does it happen?
The kids told Debbie Dingbat. What does it mean? What happened? Why is there algae? Well, you would think the folks over at least CNN would just do a simple little Google search. Or remember, again, 7th grade science.
The Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool reopened at the end of August to great fanfare after a $34 million renovation that lasted nearly 2 years. But less than a month later, the famous pool of water is full of algae. Algae are simple organisms that thrive in areas where there is heat and sunlight.
If it's sunny, if it's really warm, it will rise to the top. So on some days, depending on the weather, you will see algae.
Anyone? That report is from 2012. After a $34 million renovation of the reflecting pool by your Lord and Savior, Barack Hussein Obama. Less than a month later, algae formed. Because it naturally forms. It's not a phenomenon. It is not because of the paint at the bottom. It is not because Donald Trump is the Antichrist. It's science. And the fact that a bunch of children walked up to Debbie Dinglebat and said, I don't know how it happened. How is that possible that algae? Every kid knows about algae. Every kid learned something about algae as a kid. I did. As soon as I started, like, wait a minute, this is a big deal because of what? Like, this isn't, like, did they which one of you was doing? I know there were some adults out here. You know who you are. I know some people, and don't think I don't know. You sent me text messages about it, trying to make fun of him. You notice I didn't respond to you, right? Because I was waiting for this day. I couldn't believe it. As soon as I saw it, I went, I'm surrounded by morons. They're everywhere. These people get paid hundreds of thousands, some millions of dollars to be complete and utter idiots. They don't know about algae and how it's formed.
The Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool reopened at the end of August to great fanfare after a $34 million renovation that lasted nearly 2 years. But less than a month later, the famous pool of water is full of algae. Algae are simple organisms that thrive in areas where there is heat and sunlight.
If it's sunny, if it's really warm, it will rise to the top. So on some days, depending on the weather, you will see algae.
Here's what I really believe. I really believe this, folks. And that video is just what I'd like to call another nugget of evidence. While you folks are running around talking about how great, how audacious, how perfect Barack Hussein Obama's presidency was, the truth is, you don't even remember it. It was like a blip in the radar. It is 8 years of a time you don't even realize happened. I think that if there was a quiz about that man's presidency, outside of the name of his wife and children and the Affordable Care Act, you wouldn't know a thing he did. I bet you'd miss it. Like every time you hear a story about Barack Obama that's brought to your attention, you go, that happened? Yeah, because you weren't paying attention. And it isn't because it was blissful, folks. As I told Reggae Dawn, Barack Obama wasn't a president. He was a Labrador. He was a puppy. He was a placeholder. He was a cute little experiment that you guys all ran around and bought T-shirts for. That's all. All Barack Obama did for 8 years was give you the warm and fuzzies. You didn't care about what he did. You didn't care about Fast and Furious. You didn't care about drone strikes. You didn't care about Benghazi. Nothing. Why? Because you had the touchy-feelies to thrill up your legs that you completely forgot because Barack Obama made you forget that algae has always formed in the reflecting pool. All the time. Algae wins every time. Undefeated. Nobody knew that. Not even a basic science guy. Where the hell was Bill Nye on this? None of you geniuses could come up with that. None of you even bothered to look it up. You took the narrative face value. Donald Trump just painted the reflecting pool blue, and he wants to renovate it for less money than Barack Obama, trying to make fun of him and make him feel silly. But now there's algae, and Donald Trump went down there, and just because of his mere existence, algae has appeared out of nowhere. Never ever does it form in this fashion. Just for some odd reason, defying all of science, algae has formed in it because Donald Trump even thought about the reflecting pool. And that's how science works, folks. Donald Trump says something, and then all of a sudden science goes, I guess we're going in another direction today, defying all logic. And you guys bought it. You found stories about it from CNN and any other place, and you posted them as the gospel. Not once. You didn't even bother to think for yourself. Why? Why would you? The news media does the thinking for you. And it plays to the very lowest common denominator about you. Hate Trump. Serious. I bet you if the news media told you that your mother accepted a phone call from Donald Trump and spoke to him for an hour, you would go home and slap her. That's how gullible you all are. How gullible and silly you are. Again, I said I saw this and I just went, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Is you serious? Algae, folks? We're politicizing algae. They know no basement, my friend. Just when you think they haven't go low enough, they go, give me the shovel. And you're so eager to jump on it. It's the best thing. Oh, man. They need to plant grass where the reflecting pool is. It's a green solution. No way they're going to keep algae from growing in the soil. Yes, and thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate you saying that. Joey says, God bless you, Reese. It's refreshing to hear some common sense. Bullcrap media blows out of proportion. I know, but I'm just saying, just average. I was literally, I got to tell you this, Joe, this is the God's honest truth. When I heard this story, I was transformed to my 7th grade science class. It was like literally, it felt like my whole body went shoosh. And I went, algae? What? This is a story? Wait a minute. And they did a full-on investigation. There were stories that says, CNN brought algae experts. What? No way. It's the most amazing thing to watch. I was losing it. How do I take any of you seriously? Just don't. By the way, we're going to take a break soon. I'm going to look up online how many articles we're talking about this without even expressing the basic science of algae. Never even bothers. This is the part that I am trying to drill home for the longest. It is part not knowing basic science and also part not caring about telling you the truth. That agenda-driven news narrative always ends up catching these fools flat-footed. That's why I don't care whoever they are. They talk that nonsense. I've done this for 30 years. Yeah, well, doesn't mean you're going to moron the entire 30. There are a lot of people who skate by 30 years knowing nothing. And clearly that's you. Idiots. This guy, old basic Negro, figured it out. Heartbeat. That's all it took. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's do this.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today is about the algae story, but I want to go one step further to give you an exact example of what I'm talking about here. Okay? Last break, I said, were there any outlets that just talked about basic science when it came to the reflecting pool and the algae? Everything I looked up said this. No. Guess, weirdly enough, a small handful of news outlets covered the algae scientifically. NPR, Al Jazeera, and one outlet in NBC explained shallow human-made bodies are prone to algae growth because they are warm and exposed to the sun. That's it. Everywhere else, including NBC in other shows, CNN, NBC, BBC, Al Jazeera, even NPR, the people who actually did reports on real science still were responsible for reports that framed it as a controversy, irony, waste, or a political gotcha. They completely ignored it. They made it a political football. Algae! While some of these outlets reported scientifically on how algae is formed. All of them were there. Time, ABC, DC stations, and others. Most framed it as controversy, irony, waste, or a political gotcha. Algae bloom thwarts Trump's vision. A complete failure clouded Trump's vision. Peeling paint after a big spend, etc. Some amplified the vandalism narrative and treated the bloom as fresh evidence of mismanagement. That's why you can't trust them. They could be mad at me all day. I don't care how angry they get. This is the reason why they can't be trusted, and I'm going to keep telling them that they can't be trusted. It's a joke. Can't even get the algae thing right, folks. You can't be that thirsty. Algae. Mr. Lefkowitz, I apologize. Forgive them all. They know not what they do. That was my 7th grade science teacher. I don't even know what to say after that. I got to give a shout out to Mr. Palomino, too. Damn, it's awful. Mark, let's get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I can't wait to ask him when he gets, okay, we're still waiting for the sounder. If he remembers grade school science. You all have to at least know that, right? It sounds like you have to know that. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I'm going to continue talking about that whole Josh Elliott thing and as it pertains to Connecticut and that divide with progressive versus, I don't know, moderates, if that is even a thing here in Connecticut. I want to talk a little bit about that in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, Negro Nonsense coming up. But let's get some phone calls in here. Poet Laureate, Mr. Fred. What's going on, sir?
Hey. Well, as a matter of fact, I have a poem from the obituary column. It's called Alan, What's in a Name, Greenspan, reportedly dead at 100. The market reacts.
Yeah.
Hickory dickory dock. Damn you, Father Time, and your henchman the clock. Only 100. When I heard, I immediately wondered. And call me perverse, but is this, I pondered, like the 27 Club, but in reverse.
Okay.
To rule the world is, according to James Bond, the great dream. And the very next order of business, well, that would have to be cheating death, or so it would seem. Organ harvesting, that's a thing. I don't know about you, but I feel just like Dylan's Mr. Jones, who can't find his way home. And don't get me started on adrenochrome. Thank you.
Well done, my friend. Well done.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Alan Greenspan, sir. God rest him. When I heard that in the top of the hour news with John Silver, I just went, wow, Alan Greenspan. What I found odd about that story is that I don't remember him being responsible or ever being said to be responsible for the housing crash. I don't remember it. I know I've always blamed Bill Clinton for the Community Reinvestment Act Part 2 of the Carter administration. That's all that was. For those of you who know, that was that whole deal. Let's go to Dominic. How you doing, Dominic?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. What's up?
You know, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you with all the things that are going on in this world today, they're worried about algae in a pool.
Yes.
Just really let that. And I don't think the American people are really thinking and really think about that statement right there. All the stuff going on in the world. You're worried about a little bit of algae in a pool?
I'm telling you, it was their own Donald Trump. It was all they cared about. And every news media outlet led with it. They led with it.
That's sad. That's a sad state of affairs that we are in one of the greatest, not one of, the greatest nation on earth, and we're worried about algae in a knee-deep reflecting pool.
And there were people an Olympian got arrested for going into the pool, and they turned that into an episode. It was the most insane thing ever to watch CNN doing an in-depth report. We're talking about investigative journalism into a reflecting pool and algae. They made a huge deal out of it. As if someone when you ask yourself, what would a newsroom reject or accept as an opening story or their lead story? These guys chose algae. I mean,
it's disgusting. Reese, I'm from Mass. I picked this station up on my way to work every day. Glad to listen to you. Glad to talk to you, and keep it up.
Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. It's nice to have a new person on board. Oh, man. Again, like I said, I would have never imagined it. Would have never imagined it. Lori Maz says, and yet nothing about the 250,000 women and girls who were raped in the UK, talking about Keir Starmer, the now former UK Prime Minister. No one is going to talk about that primarily. I mean, I'm pretty sure you understand why, Lori, because if they mention it, they have to talk about, the elephant in the room in that case. And that's who's committing those assaults. That's what they're going to have to mention. And they don't want to do that. All they said was that, Keir Starmer had lost confidence with the Labour Party. They're not going to talk about the real reason, but there's a revolt in his country, as it is in all of Europe. Ireland, too. That's what's happening. What's going on, Rand? How are you?
Hey, old boomer white guy here. But I know about algae.
Please.
Okay. This could equal the Watergate scandal, the Iran-Contra scandal. I can't wait to read the algae papers. I just can't wait. And I'll bet some of those journalists right now are green with envy. That's what I'll
100%. Well done. No. You definitely deserve an applause for that one, Rand. God bless you, buddy.
See you, man.
You got it. Phil is calling. What's going on, sir?
Man, that's a tough act to follow.
Isn't it? What do you got?
Imagine my surprise at noon today when I heard the dulcet tones of your voice coming over the radio.
Well, you were probably out at lunch and you hear Reese on the radio for a full hour. Even I was saying, I felt unnatural. I've never been.
No, I do want to congratulate you on your military type experience today.
Yes, wasn't it being thrown in deep end?
No, and you can check this with your lovely wife. You had been voluntold.
That's right. I know that well. And I'm sitting here. It's so funny because I was sitting here in the studio with the microphone in front of me, and you want to know exactly how that exchange went? Over the loudspeaker, I hear, "You're on in 30." I went, what?
29.
I'm like, what happened? It was just like, something's going on with the feed for Erickson. 10, 9. I'm like, okay. So, yes, I was voluntold. But, I was looking at the thing. I was going, what do I do? I don't know what I do. I said, just talk. So I just figured I'd talk. Thank you, sir. I totally appreciate it. Glad you got to hear it.
Bye-bye.
You got it. Yeah, so for those of you who are just tuning in, during the regular show, we were having a technical issue with Eric Aaronson's show, and there was something with the feed that was going on, and we didn't want to have to go to dead air. And I think the audio that they had or that they were feeding in was some old videos. They didn't want that to come in, so they just said, hey, you're going up. And I'm like, okay. So I had to kind of do it on the fly. Which, again, brings me back to what I was talking about during that break that Phil brought up. One of the most interesting things about this Josh Elliott and Ned Lamont issues, the one that I find fascinating, and I really do believe this is true, and I don't think I'm going to be wrong about this. I know that I'm barking up the wrong tree here. If I end up with egg on my face, that's fine. I'm willing to accept, Reese, you were wrong on this one. But again, folks, I rarely am. I really believe that Josh Elliott's got a shot. Let me explain why. I believe that this is twofold. Okay? And it might even be threefold. I'll throw in the third one just as a gimme. Here's the first. All right. As I told you, the Josh Elliott thing was never supposed to happen, especially with delegates. The power of incumbency in a primary should have been razor thin. Come on, guys, tell the truth. You guys, I'm just saying based on what you guys have told me, if I'm to believe you, that Ned Lamont has got nothing but a shoo-in to get reelected, Josh Elliott was supposed to have nowhere near 25%. He was supposed to graze, make $14.99 at best. This guy made 25% easily. Funding, not a problem. People were concerned about that. Said, nah, he's not going to get the funding. Boom, it's over. He's got the funding. And again, he's got no shot, you keep telling me, right? Josh Elliott, no shot. Nobody even knows who he is. And the Mamdani camp comes in. We're not talking about slim pickings here. We're talking about a group of kingmakers who get national attention for the candidates that they're working for. National appeal. And we're just Connecticut, right? I mean, they could, if anything, for Josh Elliott, they could just be doing it as a gimme, like pro bono work. But no. These guys, they don't have to waste their time on Josh Elliott, but here they are, right here, smack dab in the nutmeg state, right here. You don't think that makes any, that doesn't mean anything? You think that's nothing? It's a non-starter? Everybody in the press pool, as far as Connecticut is concerned, they're paying attention to this. They know the weight of this guy, this Katz guy. They know the weight of this guy. These are Mamdani's own. That's like Mamdani sending the troops. Yeah. Go up there and go help out Josh. This movement is serious. It is. And you got Lamont's campaign who can't stop fumbling over itself, talking about we're not paying attention to Josh Elliott's camp. You're not? You're not? Where did that get you so far? By not paying attention to him. It got him 25% of the delegate vote. You want to play this Hillary Clinton style? Not going to the states where you're supposed to? Not campaigning where you should? You want to take this as you're a shoo-in? Good luck with that. By the way, I think that's bull anyway. I think you're paying way too much attention to him. Would you play that nonchalant, Josh Elliott, pish tosh, he's nobody. Okay. That's one. You know what two is? Lamont looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. It looks like someone else is telling him what to run on. He seems like a copy and paste candidate. Brockman says, this is what you support. Go out there and do the photo op. And don't worry, we'll get you cover. We'll send Susan out till she'll run point. You stand there, look great in the pictures. Say the scripted material. And by the way, everything is a proposal. You notice that? Everything. Lamont is on here today proposing this. Lamont's proposing that. Lamont's proposing. Everything he's proposed has turned out to be, when the rubber meets the road, non-existent. And all of it is about giveaways and gimmies. That's a desperate campaign. Somebody said he spent $200,000 on political ads. That's it? In a primary? Talking about rolling up his sleeves? Have you seen the ad? You haven't? I should play it. I should play the ad. The whole ad is a lie. Everything in it. Verifiably false. Shockingly bull. It's incredible bull. Saying that he's done things that he's never done. Doesn't even talk about the stuff that he lied about before during the convention. Rolling up our sleeves. It's 8 years, buddy. I don't know. All of it's funny. I really believe that Josh Elliott's got a shot. I'll go one step further. I believe, I don't think Lamont's going to last. I really don't. It looks shaky, folks. It's about to be July. We're roughly just short of 2 months, and I don't see it. Something is off. And it's been irking me ever since I said it. Now, I've already told a couple of people this. If my prediction comes true, they're going to call. I'm going to make them call. One of them is a member of the House. They know I told them. Even he said, I know better than to doubt you. I feel it. I don't know why, but I do. Let's take a break. We got to get another check of weather and traffic. We'll be back. Negro Nonsense coming up. Mark Christopher.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, we're back. Let's do the thing. News. Hey, happy birthday goes out to a few people today, and they are Dinah Jane, one of the members of the group Fifth Harmony. She turns 29 today. Amos Lee, who is a folk and soul singer, turns 49. I remember that age. Cyndi Lauper, famous, of course, for Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Time After Time, turned 73 years old today. I'm going to ask Mark Christopher, which is a better song? Girls Just Want to Have Fun or Time After Time? And Tom Rundgren, the power pop rock multi-instrumentalist and producer, turned 78, and he had one of the best songs in the world, the one I love very, very much so, Bang on the Drum All Day. Still love that song. And back in the Z100 days, they used to play it every Friday to end their show, and I used to love it every day. On this day, In 1963, a 13-year-old blind overachiever named Stevie Wonder, known then as Little Stevie, made the Billboard Hot 100 with the live recording of Fingertips Part 1 and 2. 1971, Joni Mitchell released her landmark album Blue. In 1985, Bryan Adams, who pretty much owned the airwaves back then, had his number one hit with Heaven. 2008, Coldplay's Viva La Vida became the first digital-only single to reach number one in the UK. And Billy Joel sold out Yankee Stadium in 1990 on this day, selling out 2 shows and delivering what was considered a very historic moment in music history. Let's get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is back.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Taking your phone calls in a little bit at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We're going to have an update this week about our pilgrimage to D.C. for the 250th anniversary of our great nation. On July 3rd and July 4th, we're working on that. In fact, I've got to, because nothing against the people who are involved, who are trying to get me some info. But I'm just going to have to send Roseanne down to D.C. I don't have a choice. I just got to send her down there. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to get her down there to see if we can get whoever's going to be at the booth. We're going to try if we can get that. I think the whole Great American State Fair starts on Wednesday, the 24th. So we're going to get her down there on the 24th, get her into D.C. so she can talk to someone down there so she can get a physical individual, because I got Rob Sampson working. I've got some people from Ryan Fazio's folks working. Betsy McCoy is going to be here tomorrow, has some telephone numbers of some people that we can get in contact with. I don't want to tell you who those are because they are people that you know and have heard of. But Betsy is working her best to see if she can get us there. But she's worried about her relationships with them. I don't want to be giving that number to some random dude. And I get that, but I still need their help. So we'll figure all that stuff out and we'll get you informed. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. So as you know, Adam 12 does a lot of booking for this very program. I consider him a very, very close friend. He is well connected in this state and knows exactly who to call in contact when we do stories. So during the show, Adam is listening and working behind the scenes, getting answers. We do know, and we have confirmed who the third individual is in that Burlington home. We're going to leave it for the authorities we're not going to get ahead of them, but we did find out who the third individual was. And we do have reports on things that are leading to the fact that this may have been accidental, not any foul play. It is looking like that's going to be the case here. So we'll let them get ahead until we hear from them that we can announce who the third person is or was, for that matter. We will leave it to them to give us that authority. I don't want to get ahead of them. That may, I don't want them to think that information they give us that we're just going to use and abuse. These are relationships in the sense of information, so we'll get that information to you when they say it's okay. All right, so stand by for that. Plus, it's only Monday. We'll probably have that answer for you by tomorrow. With that, what else was there? I totally forget. No, was there anything else? No, we do have Negro Nonsense coming up. Let me take Dave in Bristol real quick so he's not holding forever. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, Reese, how you doing?
I'm all right, sir. What's up?
I'm going to throw ice cream out at you first.
Okay.
Have you ever had Praline's ice cream in Plainville?
In Plainville, no, but I have had Praline's ice cream before. Now, if you're talking about in Plainville, are you talking about LaCroix?
It's like almost right under the highway over ramp there.
Okay, I haven't been to that one. I've been to LaCroix's before.
Okay, well, that's a good one, too.
Yeah.
All right, my other thing is, and this is it, I'll be quick. I want to hear more from our supposedly Republican candidate for governor. I need to hear more from him.
Okay. You want to hear from him where? On this very program or in general?
Well, that in anywhere. It's like he's not going to win if he doesn't get his name out and get going.
Well, first of all, he is anywhere and everywhere on social media. He does not have a campaign ad out now because, indeed, he is the candidate. But I agree with you in the sense of have him everywhere for the sake of name recognition.
He's got to be everywhere in the next 3 or 4 months.
Right. Agreed. You're absolutely right.
I think he could win.
Oh, I'm certain he can win, Dave. I think no, and I get your point because you figured if no one knows who he is, that will only be a detriment to him. Completely agreed, and Ryan agrees with you. Trust me, he agrees with you.
All right. Well, try pralines and get his butt up.
You got it. I promise you I will. I'm sure they are listening, without a doubt.
All right.
Thank you, sir. You got it. Okay. I meant to do this. Why did I forget this? Why would I forget this? That's all I'll play. Because I'll never stop. When I hear that song, no matter where I am, if that song is playing, I don't hear anything else. When I was 15 and that song started playing, I didn't hear anything. I was in that studio. I was in that band. I was performing live when that song comes on. It happens every time. I can't hear it without getting a jolt. I love Bang on the Drum All Day. I love that song. Love that song. And I can listen to it a million times over and over again. It gets the same reaction from me. I get a chill, and my spine is immediately up, and it's just exciting. I can't do it. It's just, it takes over. That's over. How do you not? How do you not? How do you not? I can do it. I swear to you. I can do the rest of this break with that song. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Just moving on. Oh, just bad. Just bad. Anyway, it takes me all the way back when I was 15. It just does. All I want to do is play that song. That's how bad it is. What's up, Adam? How are you? Adam, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, Adam, how are you? Turn me down in the back, sir.
Do you think that it would help Josh Elliott's situation if he would marry his fiancée before the election because it just looks better, to be family man, or not necessarily?
Oh, you're talking about Ryan Fazio?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ryan Fazio.
No, that's okay. That is okay. Now, I will tell you that adds a little bit to this. But let me throw back a counter scenario for you and see what you think of this. Because I said this to Bob Sampson, and I think he agreed. In fact, I'm almost certain he agreed. Is that what he and Ryan and Amy sort of represent in Connecticut is something we haven't really had representing our state. And that is sort of a youth revival of like new families just getting started, moving to Connecticut. Like this is the place where you start a family. He and Amy sort of as, what do you call it? Fiancés sort of give that kind of energy that Ryan Fazio is the future. Like this is not a place where you come to retire. This is a place where you come to start anew.
That's a good point. Obviously the young family.
Yes.
That's your point.
Yeah, and I think that keeping that, not that they should use it as a gimmick. Like I'm sure they've got a wedding date coming up. He introduces her as his fiance, but they really represent that because sometimes politics can be cultural, right? It can be sort of how you identify with the particular candidate. This plays against the whole. Ned Lamont going for a third term, being in his 70s. Many people in the state want something new, fresh, and vibrant. They're sick and tired of being called the retirement state in a lot of ways, and people, moving out. So if you put the state of Connecticut behind an Amy and Ryan Fazio, it gives the impression like these two would be the very young couple welcoming everybody to the state. Hey, come on in, stay a while, start a family, start a business. They kind of have that appeal.
That's a really good point, and good luck. I hope he wins in the race. I'm going to vote for him and support his campaign.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the call, but a great question, because I think that those two represent the thing. Like I said, I know that Connecticut has always been sort of that place where people have gotten older here. Some people say, what do we have, like, I think it's 7. I remember the number a couple of weeks ago. I think it's like 9 people a day turn 75 or something like that in the state. And that's kind of the overall theme. Trying to get old folks out of their homes and putting them into nursing homes. That's, by the way, never, ever going to, like, after the COVID debacle here, never going to be able to sell that. But, Ryan gives off that kind of young, attractive, starter kit kind of feeling. It's just, that's every time Roseanne and I see him with his fiance, we say it every time. It's just like, that's Americana. That's like the image you want to give. It changes everything. Seeing the two of them as the, at the, what do you call it? Being the tourist, part of the tourism campaign, right? Seeing them together. Come to Connecticut. It's like, that's the look you want. Just is. That's just the way I see it. I don't know. It's my point of view. Do I have minutes for this? I've got a little bit of time. Let me start the first part of Negro nonsense, which is these people who are always running around talking about they don't want to be a part of the 4th of July. Nobody cares if you don't want to be a part of the 4th of July. I can't believe is that not here? Yeah, look at that. It's not even here. That is typical, ladies and gentlemen. That is what I call typical, not having the audio that I want. I'll have it shortly. Here is Joy Reid, of all people, saying that she wants no part of the 4th of July celebration, and according to her, neither do any African Americans.
Because in many ways, and with apologies to my dear spicy white friends, because I know that my white brothers and sisters do love a 4th of July. It is Independence Day. Everybody's barbecuing. It's a thing. I can promise you, black folks, we will take that day off. We will barbecue because we off. But black people, that nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July, because it is what Frederick Douglass said it is. It is the celebration of slaveholders who freed themselves from having to pay taxes to the crown for their slave empire.
He said no such thing, and she is a bozo, as are most of these people. Frederick Douglass said nothing of the sort. But then again, never mind. It's not important. It is absolutely stupid what she says. But she went even further than that, as these rabble-rousers always do. She went on to say this about the Juneteenth celebration as it relates to the 4th of July.
There's a duality to 4th of July that is hard to reconcile if you think about it too much. It's like indigenous people on Thanksgiving. Like, they're like, yeah, but, y'all are celebrating that, but this is actually our Nakba. Okay, you're celebrating the destruction of all of our lands, and y'all think all we did was give you corn. So they're like, it's not cute to us, but so y'all go ahead and celebrate your Thanksgiving. We're not giving thanks, okay?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you ain't giving thanks.
And the black people feel that way about 4th of July. Whereas Juneteenth, to me, is the real thing that 4th of July is, because we really were not a democracy until we ended slavery.
Ugh, goodness gracious. That's stupidity. She went to Harvard. Through affirmative action. Yeah, that checks out. That's what I don't get any of these people. When we come back, I've got some others. you don't want to come to the 4th of July celebrations in and around the country? Let me be the first to tell you, please don't. I'm going to say it to every black person in the country who does not want to show up at a 4th of July event. Please do not have one. Stay home. Protest. Whatever you got to do. But stay home. Please don't go out in the streets. I'll explain why. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. And Joy Reid said that Juneteenth is the 4th of July. Okay, good. Glad she said that. And the Rockets' red glare.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
Oh, God. Even the folks at the 5 are making fun of CNN and it's Algae Gate. It is, again, like I said, it is the most laughable thing ever. And I can't believe that people got caught up in it. It's just so dumb. That's what it is. Anyway, if you missed the program at any time, go back to WTIC.com, download the Odyssey app so you can check out the show whenever you want. You can find our podcast there, or you can check out the show by viewing it, by going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. If you want to. When we come back, I'll break down this whole ridiculous nonsense with Joy Reid and people who do not want to show up for the 4th of July. The cool people never have to tell you when they're leaving. Everybody knows. You're usually surrounded. So many people like you that when you go, they were like, "Hey, are you leaving?" That's how they act. What? Where are you going? You're not going to stay? But if you have to run around walking, everybody goes, "Hey, I'm going to get out of here." Nobody cares. You have to tell people that you're leaving. Nobody cares. So when I see these guys talking about, I'm going to go, I'm not going to have the 4th of July celebration because I think it's just too patriotic and that makes me uncomfortable. It's like, nobody cares. Don't. It's okay. We will not miss you. We will not miss you. I'll go this far. People who say they're not going to celebrate the 4th of July, or like people who say they're not going to the prom. 10, 15, 20 years later, they always regret it. They always don't go to the prom for some cool reason. Yeah, I don't want to be around with all those posers. And then they get older, and then we'll go, "Hey, you didn't go to prom, did you?" Yeah, I know. Secretly regretting it. Trying to be cool in the moment. Posting on social media, "I'm not going to the 4th of July." People who are going are not talking to anybody. They're not telling anybody, "I'm going." They're just going. Nobody has to make an announcement. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Ugh. Mark, you going to the prom July 4th? Are you going to any celebrations? I know you got to be having one.
I'm playing a wedding on July 4th.
Look at that, July 4th wedding.
Yep, in Mystic.
Is it? Yep. Oh, in Mystic, it's going to be beautiful. Please tell me it's outdoors.
Absolutely.
Is it going to be outdoors?
The ceremony's probably going to be outdoors. I don't know about the reception.
Mystic is beautiful.
Yeah,
I used to live out there for a little
place
while.
To be, yeah.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
A weird tomorrow. Okay? God willing. Weird, but chock full of stuff. Okay? I got to give a shout out. Thank you, John Beckman. I appreciate it. But we are loaded for bear tomorrow. I'm going to try my best to get all the news and all the views in. But tomorrow we are loaded for bear as far as guests are concerned. Starting off with the famous one second baseman, the 1986 Mets, Mr. Wally Backman, is calling in on the program tomorrow. I'm very excited for that. I want to talk to him. I want to talk his ears off about a book that I read many moons ago called The Bad Guys Won. One of my favorite books about the Miracle Mets. Well, they're not the Miracle Mets, but you know what I mean. The 86 Mets. I want to talk to him about that. So Wally Backman's calling in. He's a coach now in the minors, so we'll talk to him tomorrow. Also, we've got State Controller Sean Scanlon in the studio tomorrow, as well as Betsy McCoy, who's going to be in the studio tomorrow talking about her venture in running the GOP. The guy who's vehemently against that, but is calling about something else entirely. Mark Walsh from Mark Walsh Reports, or Mark from West Hartford. God. Yeah, before you don't even go into the Betsy McCoy thing. I know you're against.
Come on, you got to let me make one comment.
Real quick.
She's engaging me. She's engaging me on X. Listen, she just had Ben Proto on last year, commending him on what?
I know.
He's talking about affordable housing. Here's a guy that represents developers who are building affordable housing. And she commended him because he was knocking the snots off of it on her show just last year. Now she wants his job. Come on.
I would rather
for power.
I don't know about the hungry for power part. I don't know about that. Well, I'll ask her.
She's got more money than she knows what to do with. What else does she need to? Nobody ever heard of her before last year. Reese, I swear to God, nobody knew her. I'm telling you, just a handful.
You don't think?
Republicans
I'll admit.
Connecticut knew who she was.
If you are if you're a political wonk, you know exactly who Betsy McCoy is. You're right. The average Republican is probably not familiar with her. Anyway, you called about something else.
Let's get to Joy Reid.
Okay.
So it's Hartford, Connecticut. The black community, especially in Hartford, Connecticut, an anomaly when it comes to celebrating 4th of July.
Apparently,
I worked about 8 of them as a firefighter. My nephew, who's a cop, I just got off the phone with him. I said, and I told him, because he's not up to this. He goes, what? They have to stack calls, meaning they're going to go to shooting, stabbings, assaults, fireworks, whatever it is, prior to any low-level arguments between neighbors.
Yeah.
It is one of the hottest days. I don't mean literally hot.
Oh, I know what you mean.
About when it comes to celebrations, the black community in Hartford, can't talk about Bridgeport, New Haven, or anywhere else.
Yeah.
They celebrate it more than anywhere. And that's where when I would get calls, we were constantly covering. We were out of our area, which was predominantly brown people, going to the black community to cover for the stations that were already on their call.
Yeah, man.
It's one of the busiest days. I'm going to capture some call logs. I'm going to get some of my friends to capture some videos of what's going on. That was unbelievable to hear that he thinks that they abstain from celebrating 4th of July.
That's what I said. I'm like, there's no way. It's insanity. It is. It's absolutely.
Hey, all right. So don't forget tomorrow to ask Betsy how her change of heart, how she wants somebody's job. She thought he was doing such a great job just a year ago, everybody. She thought he was the bomb. Going after these people who are putting affordable housing up. Just remember, it's all a big charade. They're frauds. And you don't like to hear it. I know you don't.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just like, don't preempt my interview before it happens. But God bless you. Hey, you know I'm never gonna stop you telling the truth. Are you kidding me?
But at least your listeners know. Now your listeners, while they're listening to her BS tomorrow, now they know. Thank you, brother.
You got it, man. See you when you get back. Mark from West Hartford. Now, what he was talking about, of course, was none other than what we call on this program, your favorite and mine.
Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you?
Can you believe there were people who did not know that was Viva Las Vegas? Negro nonsense. Again, Joy Reid talking about how no one in the black community is celebrating 4th of July.
Because in many ways, and with apologies to my dear spicy white friends, because I know that my white brothers and sisters do love a 4th of July. It is Independence Day. Everybody's barbecuing. It's a thing. I can promise you, black folks, we will take that day off. We will barbecue because we off. But black people, that nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July because it is what Frederick Douglass said it is. It is the celebration of slaveholders who freed themselves from having to pay taxes to the crown for their.
See, the part that I don't understand that is like when these worthless, sycophantic liberal blacks start talking about Frederick Douglass, who normally they would call a coon, a sellout, and an Uncle Tom. That's the part that gets me mad. That's the only part that gets me mad. I don't usually get mad, but don't quote Frederick Douglass. Just don't. But she does. But you know what? She's right. I just want to tell the African-American community, whatever you do, please don't celebrate. Stay home. Don't celebrate. I want to see you out in the street. Let's let the white man celebrate his holiday, right? Of oppression, right? Keeping people down. It's white oppressive 4th of July that only celebrates white man's freedom. That's right. Don't participate. Participate in Juneteenth. That is right up your alley. Speaking of which, I wonder what happened on Juneteenth in Chicago.
This was supposed to be a joyous time. Neighbors say many people had gathered to celebrate Juneteenth when things took a violent turn. Surveillance video capturing what appears to be a barrage of gunfire. Shortly after, you see people running for cover. Chicago police were called to 95th and Princeton after a mass shooting around 11 Friday night in the city's Princeton Park neighborhood. At least 13 people were injured.
244 West 95th Street. I need crowd control.
Chicago police say a red SUV pulled up to a large crowd. Investigators say 2 suspects began shooting from inside the car before taking off.
There's approximately 25 shell casings, both rifle and pistol rounds, from 243 West 95th all the way to the end of the block on Princeton.
The victims' ages range from 17 to 47 years old and were taken to different hospitals. A 26-year-old man was last listed in critical condition. The majority of the victims are expected to recover from their injuries.
17 to 47 years old. Red SUV pulled up, shots fired from inside the vehicle out into the crowds indiscriminately on Juneteenth.
All of a sudden, you hear this loud bah, 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 bah. I can hear the rapid-fire gunfire. And I said, oh, no, can't be. And next thing I know, you hear the sirens.
Michael Blount was home at the time of the shooting. He says he's disappointed it happened at a time when people were looking to celebrate the holiday.
It was a shame that it happened on Juneteenth.
Because any other day would have been acceptable. It's a shame that it happened on Juneteenth instead of on a regular old Wednesday. It's a shame. It's absolutely deplorable that they wait until Juneteenth to actually start killing each other. They could have made it Arbor Day, but they had to do it on Juneteenth. No, don't celebrate it. Don't hate the 4th of July. Ban it from your vocabulary. Go in the house. Go in the house. None of you should be outside anyway. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Why would you be out there?
This was supposed to be about celebration, not what just happened. You know, that was just purely wrong.
A motive for the shooting is unclear.
Motive? There's Negroes outside. What you mean motive? Let me help you with the motive. Hey, there's Negroes outside. Let's shoot. It's like sitting ducks out there. What, are you kidding me? Motive? Motive? Nobody needed a motive. This is a street shooting in Chicago. Seriously. Juneteenth, they were people with those guns sitting around in a living room somewhere, South Side particularly, going, hey, what's happening on Friday? People are saying that they're doing some sort of block party on Friday. It's Juneteenth, fool, don't you know? Oh, okay. I guess we're going shooting. That's what happens. Motive?
Police have not made any arrest. Alderman Anthony Beale, who represents the 9th Ward, saying in part, in a matter of seconds, an ordinary summer night was shattered by gunfire. No one should have to wonder if they or someone they love will make it home safely.
I'm sorry. I mean, it sounds cruel, but don't celebrate the 4th of July. Stop bragging. Your kids shouldn't be outside celebrating that holiday. Not if you love them. If you care about your kids, you should keep them in the house on the 4th of July. There's a bozo outside waiting to gun them down indiscriminately. We are happy you're not coming. Please, we applaud you. Stay home. I don't know what these people are bragging about. Joy Reid said that this is Juneteenth is black people's 4th of July.
There's a duality to 4th of July that is hard to reconcile if you think about it too much. It's like indigenous people on Thanksgiving. Like they're like, yeah, but y'all are celebrating that, but this is actually our Nakba. Okay, you're celebrating the destruction of all of our lands, and y'all think all we did was give you corn. So they're like, it's not cute to us, but so y'all go ahead and celebrate your Thanksgiving. We're not giving thanks, okay? And the black people feel that way about 4th of July. Whereas Juneteenth, to me, is the real thing that 4th of July is, because we really were not a democracy until we ended slavery. Right.
Yeah. It ain't a holiday if somebody ain't getting shot. That's how it is. Ain't that something, though? Now, I want to make this abundantly clear, especially to my African-American liberals, black libs. Listen very closely. If you have a problem with what I just said about not letting your children outside on the holiday, about staying indoors because they're going to get shot, if you think what I said was wrong, after I just showed a story about people being shot on Juneteenth in Chicago, that you have more outrage for what I said instead of what happened in Chicago, that's all I need to know. That's exactly why I ignored you. That's the reason why I'll never give you any kudos. Because you think my words are far more dangerous than the bullets that pierced those black people in Chicago. It's called perspective for a reason. Stop being so dumb. You ain't celebrating 4th of July. Good. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Yeah, that's right. We got plenty of guests. I don't even know how we're going to get through it. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Mark, I've got Wally Backman at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Wally Backman, the ex-Met player?
Yeah, man. Second baseman. He's going to be on the program on tomorrow at 3.
What are you going to be talking about with him?
Of course, the Mets. But he's a minor league. He's a minor league manager now in Staten Island.
He was a fiery personality.
Oh, buddy, I watched that video 5 times yesterday.
Oh, yeah.